Hey everybody, it's Benny One, and I'm back at you with another Harry Potter movie review, everyone, and we're moving on to year 3, everybody. That's right, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. That's right, Expecto Patronum! That's right, I busted out my Elder Wand for this movie review, everybody. That's right, I got this as a gift from Harry Potter Land at Universal Studios. Movie replica, badass shit. Elder Wand, baby. Favorite wand, of course. So yes, we are talking about the third Harry Potter movie that came out in 2004, everyone. So the first one was 2001, second one 2002, and then they took a break. And they took 2 years to make this one. And this one actually sees a different director come on board and take the franchise into a different direction that would basically kind of steer it into a direction that it pretty much goes on from the third movie on, even though there is another director for the fourth movie, and then David Yates directs the rest of the movies after the fourth one. But Alfonso Cuarón, everyone, directed the third Harry Potter movie, and you know what? He brought some major focus with the story element to the franchise, because I will probably say that this is easily one of the best Harry Potter movies, like as a film, as a whole, whether you're talking about the acting, the directing, the script, the pacing, everything. Like the flow of the movie, everything was so tightly knit and put together with this third Harry Potter movie. That's why I think as a whole, I do think it probably is the best made Harry Potter movie that they did. Now, that it doesn't always, a lot of people have this as their actually favorite Harry Potter movie. It's not quite my favorite Harry Potter movie, but who knows, after this rewatch, it might be when I rank all these bad boys. So he just brings that to this movie, and it's so well done and put together. And it also brings this franchise into a darker territory. It's not super kid friendly anymore, even though all of the Harry Potter movies are kid friendly to certain points. But this third movie changed the tone and up the ante with shit when you're dealing with Voldemort, even though Voldemort per se doesn't really have anything to do with anything in this movie, because the actual villain aspect of this movie doesn't literally have to do with Voldemort himself. It has to do with other people that helped him kill Lily and James Potter. So that's the thing, is it kind of takes a little bit of focus off of him in this movie. And I will get to that said character, I guess, if you want to say. But yeah, this movie's a lot darker. We get introduced to the Dementors in this movie right off the bat. They literally attack Hogwarts Express. And I mean, it's just very dark. And you could just tell the tone of the movie is a lot darker than the previous two movies. Most definitely a lot darker than the previous two movies. So, and of course, all of our cast is back, including our main 3 stars, Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert, and Emma Watson, everybody. They're back as Harry, Ron, and Hermione, of course, and then everybody else is back. All of the other students, of course, and the teacher actors, everybody. Ron's parents, they're all back in this movie. But of course, every movie that comes along, we do have new actors that come in and introduced new characters. So right off the bat, Gary Oldman, everybody, is in this movie, and he plays Sirius Black, everyone. That's right. Great casting choice. Like, that's the thing about, I think they had a bunch of great, like, actors and actresses playing these adult characters in the movies already from the first 2 movies, but they beefed that up even more in this movie with the talent that they added to these other characters. And one of the characters got replaced, actually, because the original Dumbledore died. So, our new Dumbledore is played by Michael Gambon, everyone. He is the new Albus Dumbledore, and I prefer this version of Dumbledore more than the other one. Nothing wrong with what Richard did. I don't have anything against him. I just feel like Michael brings this just presence of this like wizard who is the basically he's the headmaster of Hogwarts, the principal, whatever you want to call it, but he's the headmaster of Hogwarts. He has the Elder Wand. I mean, it's his wand when the Harry Potter movies are going on. He is one of the most powerful wizards to ever exist. And I just feel like Michael brings that presence to the screen, where the other guy, I just felt like he was just an old wizard that, you know, he probably could have showed that, but they just didn't do that. They were showing the very lighthearted side of him. But yeah, this guy, like, he just has that presence to him of this badass wizard that you don't want to mess with. Like, and he can do the funny, quirky stuff too. They show that later on in the movies as they go along. So yeah, love his Dumbledore. Love his Dumbledore. And then David Thewlis plays Remus Lupin. Everybody, he's the new teacher of the Defense Against the Dark Arts, because there's a new one of those every single year. And he's a great addition to the cast too, and he is a werewolf also. So that's the thing. That's a little thing with his character. And him and Sirius Black actually is a lot of what the mystery of this movie is because this movie is it's got a little mystery to it, because they're saying that Sirius Black has broke and he's escaped from Azkaban. And he's notorious Sirius Black, the murderer and everything. He got framed for a bunch of shit that he didn't do because he was Harry's godfather, that you find out at the end of the movie. So they make it seem like he's the villain. And then Lupin, you don't have any idea that he is a werewolf and stuff. And he's going, you know, he turns into a werewolf when he's at Hogwarts. And one of the paintings gets scratched at one point, so they blame Sirius Black and all this stuff. So there's a little mystery going on in the movie, which is very, very cool. And also, we do kind of get a little bit of a time travel story arc in this movie too, because once you think the third act is kind of over, Hermione gets a hold of Harry when Ron ends up in the hospital, and they do some time travel shit and revisit like the last 30 minutes of the movie basically, and it kind of connects some dots, and like where when Ron, Hermione, and Harry are in Hagrid's hut, his little house, and Harry gets hit in the back of the head with a rock. That was Hermione, because when they went back in time, they were standing outside when Buckbeak was going to get his head cut off because he hurt Malfoy. Because, oh, yeah, I forgot about that too. Hagrid actually got to be a teacher this year. He was like the teacher of some kind of animals or whatever. I can't remember exactly what it's called. But, yeah, he got to be a teacher this year. And there's a cool little sequence where Harry gets the respect from Buckbeak, and he gets to ride him, and there's this cool little sequence of him flying on him and stuff, and that's the special effects by this movie. The special effects were looking pretty damn good. They were doing a very good job with them at this point in the franchise. So, but yeah, so Buckbeak's gonna get killed because, of course, Malfoy's dad, Lucius, the piece of work that he is, orders him to be killed because he scratched Malfoy's arm, the little baby, for God's sakes. But yeah, so there's a time travel element to this. You got a little mystery element going on and twist in this great Harry Potter world that we've already been established to. We get to see Harry learn how to do the Expecto Patronum spell to get rid of and defend against the Dementors and stuff, that he does some training with Lupin, and he always gives him chocolate afterwards. He's like, it helps. Eat it. It'll make you feel better. So So yeah, it's cool stuff in the movie. And the movie's just it's really entertaining. Like I really don't find a whole lot of flaws in this movie. It follows the book pretty well because the books started getting bigger as they got to the third book and on. Like the books got bigger and bigger, so they can't put everything in the movies, but we also get introduced, I just almost forgot, to another character. Timothy Spoogle plays Peter Pettigrew, everybody, and he is that character that I'm talking about that helped Voldemort kill Harry's parents. He was a friend of theirs. He was a friend of Lupin's and Sirius Black's. Like they were all friends, and he turned on them and he told Voldemort where they were so he could go kill them. And he's been in hiding ever since that shit happened. And he literally has been Ron's rat. Like that's who Peter Pettigrew was. He turns into a rat and he's been hiding for 12 freaking years, everybody. That's right. It's crazy shit. And oh god, freaking Harry gets this map that Mrs. Mooney Padfoot something whatever map, and you open it up and it shows you where people are in the castle and Hogwarts and everything, and that's how Harry notices Peter Pettigrew, and he tells Lupin, and Lupin's like, that's impossible, that he's dead, I know he's dead. So, and that's where that shit starts to kind of unravel. So then you have that little aspect of the story. Is there's lots of cool little mystery elements with a bunch of the characters in this movie, and then it all comes to a head in the third act in the Shrieking Shack, and we get a really cool like third act sequence that isn't like epic and huge, but because of all these new characters that were introduced, and you think Sirius Black is this bad guy murdering guy, and your Lupin's a werewolf, so you're freaked out from him, and they make you think that they're the bad guys in the movie, but then the real truth comes out, and they turn Peter back into a human, and they tell the full story of what really happened, and Snape gets involved, and everything. It gets pretty crazy shit. And then you get the time travel thing afterwards, and the school year, of course, the way that the school, I think this is probably the best school year 2 aspect in the Harry Potter movies. I just think the whole flow of how they did the school year with the story and everything really worked really well in this movie. It's just, this movie's really good. Like that's why I was saying it literally, I think it is the best made Harry Potter movie, like out of all 8 of them. And the kid actors, like they're all a little older now, and they're starting to actually, I would say that this movie was when I think that their acting was most definitely starting to be on par with the adult actors and actresses that were cast for the older characters. And they benefit from working with people like Maggie Smith and Gary Oldman and Michael Gambon. Like they benefit from working with these great actors and actresses, and they finally are starting to catch up with their level of acting, and it shows in the finished product. So yeah, guys, this is a fantastic movie. It's a really good Harry Potter movie. So I'm gonna give Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, I'm actually going to give this one a 10 out of 10. I really think it's just a well-made movie and a great Harry Potter movie, and it took us in the direction that the rest of these movies would go for the rest of the franchise. So a 10 out of 10, everybody, for the Prisoner of Azkaban. And I'll be catching you on the tube later because I have spoken.